Hey everybody, welcome into the Flippin' Hippos YouTube channel. I'm Star the Flippin' Hippo. Today we're going to talk about 10 more brands of jeans to sell on eBay, Poshmark, and wherever you sell online. If you watched yesterday's video, we talked about 10 bread and butter brands that you could look for while you're outsourcing. And today we're going to talk about 10 Bolo or luxury brands. These are brands that are going to sell for a lot more money. They're also going to cost you a lot more. So these are going to have a higher cost of goods. They're going to be harder to find. You're going to be less likely to run into these, and you're not going to find them in as great of quantity as like the bread and butter brands. A lot of these brands I'm about to talk about, I've personally never found in the wild. I've had them come to me in thread up boxes and wholesale lots that we've purchased. I don't know if that's just because of where we're located. Maybe these brands aren't really popular here, and wherever the thread up boxes and the wholesale lots came from, maybe these brands are popular in those states. It could be a socioeconomic thing, but these brands I tend to think are a little bit harder to find. And when you do find them, you definitely want to pick them up, even if you're paying full price. I've got two on here we'll talk about in a little bit more detail that they're not quite Bolo, but they're a little bit better than bread and butter. So let's talk about those first. So Joe's Jeans and Cut from the Cloth. I wasn't quite sure where to put these two because they're a little bit better than bread and butter, but they're not quite Bolo and luxury. And I think it's because they're on their way down. The brands are getting oversaturated. There's definitely a race to the bottom. That fast nickel people want just trashes the market on certain brands. It really does. So Joe's Jeans and Cut from the Cloth, I would say, are definitely a step above bread and butter, but they're a step below Bolo. Joe's and Cut from the Cloth are going to start out around $35 maybe. So you can pay like $3 or $4 for them, but they're not something you want to pay $6.99 full price for. They're not going to sell for $50 and $60 or higher. So, you know, keep your eyes peeled for Joe's and Cut from the Cloth. They're definitely worth picking up. I just wasn't sure which list to put them on, and I wanted to talk about them today because we're talking about higher end jeans. And yesterday was more about the $20 to $30 range of resale brands. So Joe's and Cut from the Cloth are kind of in the middle, you know, but then we have these other 9 brands that are really good. Now, I am going to fully disclose that there are brands out there that sell for a lot more money than this, that are a lot more sought after, that are true luxury brands, but I don't feel like those are attainable. I wanted to talk about brands with you that are attainable, that are realistic. Harder to find, more like gems in the rough, but the chances of you finding these or having these in your lifetime sent to you in a box are more likely. These are brands that I feel like all of us will at least a couple of times find, and they'll be attainable. I didn't want to come in here with a list of 10 brands that we're never going to see in our lifetime or never find, because what's the point of teaching you brands to source to make more money and improve your business if they're not brands that are feasible that any of us are really ever going to find? I mean, there are tons of jeans out there that are absolute luxury brands that sell for thousands of dollars even. I've done my research, but they are just not feasible. They're not realistic. I want to be realistic. I want to give you guys goals that you can actually grab and run with. So these are things that are going to, they're jeans that are going to be harder, but attainable. You may run into these. Some of these are more common. We'll start with those. Miss Me, True Religion, and Silver. Those are 3 brands that we're all going to see. I've seen. I found them in the wild. I find them all the time. And I just had like 20 pairs sent to me in a wholesale lot. So these are going to be your more common Bolo brands. But you still want to grab Miss Me, True Religion, and Silver. Some folks say that Miss Me has lost their popularity, but I haven't seen a decrease in them. I have a couple of pairs that sat around for a long time, but I think it was more of the size of the jeans. than the actual brand Miss Me. They were like sizes that were just above those tiny sizes that I sell really well. We talked about in yesterday's jeans video, which, by the way, if you didn't watch that, I'll have it pop up at the end for you. But I've had some sizes that were in that weird area where they were just a little bit bigger than those tiny sizes, but not big enough to be big. You know what I mean? But for the most part, Miss Me still move really well for me. I sell them regularly for $40, $45 on eBay and like $50 or $55 on Poshmark. Sometimes $60. You know, it depends on the offers. True Religion, same. Silver, same. These are 3 brands that I will start out anywhere from $50 to $60, depending on size, style, what they look like. And of course, I always list higher on Poshmark as a general rule. I start things on Poshmark at 25% higher than I want on eBay. So if it's a pair of jeans that I'm listing on eBay for $50, they're going to go for $63 on Poshmark. That's so I have room for offers. Now we're going to get into the brands that are going to be a little bit harder to find. Madewell. You guys want to keep your eyes peeled for that one. I found 2 pairs in the wild a couple weeks ago next to each other on the rack. I was really super excited because prior to that, I'd only ever had them sent to me in thread-up boxes. And these ones I start around $40, $50. You want to be looking for Frame. I'd never heard of Frame. It came to me in a thread-up box. I almost thought it was just a poop brand. I was like, what the heck is Frame? Someone in the chat during the live show when I was opening the thread-up box said, no, that's a Bolo. And it is. And I can't for the life of me remember what I listed them at, but it was like $50, $60. I had like 2 pairs, I believe. One has sold, one is still around. J Brand, that's another brand I discovered when I was doing a thread-up box. So J Brand is really good. It's like a $40, $50. Your rock and roll cowboy or your rock and roll cowgirl. There's both. I've only ever had the cowgirl. Rock and roll cowgirl, I got it in a wholesale lot. I'd never heard of it, comped it, pleasantly surprised. It sold within like 3 days of listing for $40 or $45. And then your rock revival, not to be confused with all the other jeans that have the word rock in the brand, but Rock Revival are really good. I've only ever found 1 pair. They were men's and they were new with tags, and they sold for like $80, if I remember correctly. It may have even been more, but I think it was like, I think I started them at like 90 and they went for 80 on a best offer. And it's been so long that it's hard for me to remember, and I've only ever found the 1. But do keep your eyes peeled for Rock Revival. And then your dojos. So 7 for All Mankind is a brand I haven't mentioned in either video. It really doesn't make the list. It kind of is a bread and butter brand. And that's really sad because 7 for All Mankind used to be one of these Bolos, one of these like, woo, brands of jeans you want to get. And everybody and their brother just like oversaturated, race to the bottom. I'd still pick them up when I find them for $2 or less because they're not bad. I mean, they'll still sell. They're kind of not bread and butter, but not quite Bolo. They're kind of in there with Joe's and cut from the cloth, I guess. I'll grab them if I can get them for 99 cents or half off, and they're like $2 or $3. I start them around 35, so I mean, they're not terrible, but the dojos are awesome. They will say dojo on a tag inside the band of the pants, so you know where the back tag is with the brand. It'll say dojo, and then your back pockets will have 7s on them. So they're the only 7 for All Mankind jeans that have the very unique and specific 7s. You can spot them from across the room. They're so unique. I just go like this. So if you ever see jeans across the room or at a thrift store and you see 7s on the back pockets, go look at them, look on the inside and see if they say dojo. Those are a Bolo, and I've only ever had 2 pair. One I found here in the wild and one I sourced in Florida last year in the wild. And one, I believe, if I remember, sold for $65 on eBay and the other one for like $70 on Poshmark, I think. I know it was a lot. So those dojos are still sought after. They are 7 for all mankind, but anything that's not a dojo pair, kind of bread and butter, maybe just a little bit better. And then I have 2 bonus brands to look for in the men's department. So this is like you're getting 13, 14 today instead of 10, because we did Joe's and Cut from the Cloth, and 7 for all mankind is kind of like those mid between bread and butter and good. And now you're going to get 2 bolos for men. The first one is the BKEs for men. I know you guys have heard me talk about these. BKE for women is kind of just meh anymore. They sell for bread and butter prices around 25 or 30, but they are very, very long tail and they do not move very quickly at all. They used to. Again, this is another brand that just got completely trashed because everybody and their brother has to have that fast nickel. I don't know why people want to race to the bottom so badly, but this is what happens. You take brands that were worth money and now they're worthless. We talked about Lucky yesterday being the bread and butter, and it used to be one of these good ones. Joe's Cut from the Cloth, 7 for all mankind, and the BKE women jeans. They're just, it's sad, but I didn't mention BKE on the bread and butter because they're so slow. They will sell for $25, $30, but they're slower than even Gap. But anyway, the BKE for men are still a bolo. They're still good to look for. You want to look for the ones with the names. There's Derek, there's Cody, there's Tyler, but it's very specific on the tag. It'll say BKE and it'll have a men's name. There's a whole bunch of them, but there's a following for them. Like we talked about yesterday with the bread and butter jeans. These are kind of like the same thing. Men find one of these that they like, the style, say the Cody or the Dakota, and they know their fit and they know their size. They don't sell them really in the stores anymore, so they go online to buy them. But you can start these around $50. I'm not kidding. It's such a difference between the women's and the men's. We talked about that yesterday as well, how typically, and I use the word typically for a reason, I start men's jeans in the same brand as the women's jeans, like $5 more, because you can charge more for men's clothing and you can sell men's clothing for more money than you can women's, even within the same brand. And usually it's about $5 or $6 more. But with BKE, there's this huge gap because the women's have been trashed and the men's are still worth money. So if you find the BKE men's jeans, grab them up. They're definitely worth full price, and you can start them around, I usually start them at $50, knowing full well I'm going to take a best offer of $45 or $40, and that's fine with me. But I don't want to start them at $45 or $40 because then you're going to be taking a best offer for less, and I want at least $45 for these. And sometimes I get $50. Sometimes they sell quickly enough and without an offer that they go for $50. So keep your eyes out for the BKE men's jeans, and they will have a distinctive tag with the name Cody, Dakota, Tyler. There's a whole bunch of them. And then last but not least, Jenko Jeans. I reckon these are harder to find because they are vintage. They're from the 90s. I've had 3 pairs recently that you guys have seen come and go on my What Sold videos. I had a pair in the thrifting challenge I did on Dominic Primetime Treasure Hunters channel. These are pretty distinctive as well. They are spelled J-N-C-O, Jenko, and they are super huge baggy skater jeans, vintage from the 90s. They will typically have some type of patch or graphic on them that's really, really, really big on the leg. Like one of ours had a big red boxing glove, one had a big, huge gold crown, and one had flames. There's Jenko Tribal, and then there's just Jenko. They're interchangeable in my mind, but I've never found them in the wild. And all 3 pairs came in the same wholesale box that we purchased from another reseller. So They lucked out and found 3. I don't know where they got them. I've never seen them in the wild, but definitely keep your eyes for them. Keep your eyes out for them, not keep your eyes for them. Keep your eyes peeled for the Jenkos. JNCO, huge skater jeans. They're pretty distinctive. You'll know them when you see them. I started ours all at 100 and sold all at 90. So all 3 pairs sold for $90 on a best offer. And if you comp them, they're all over the place. Some folks are doing them 40 at 50. Some folks are doing 120, 150. I just went in the middle at 100, knowing full well I was going to take 85 or 90 on a best offer, and I got 90 for all 3. The first 2 pairs, the ones I talked about that had the boxing glove and the gold crown, sold in like the first one sold within a day, the boxing glove one. The other one took a week, and then the other ones took about a month, but they had damage. The hems were all ripped and frayed, and they had a couple of stains on them, which I was surprised that those ones still went for 90. I thought definitely I was going to have to take a lot less on those because they had the stains and all the damage. They just took longer. So those are some definite Bolo luxury, but I don't know if those are like the once in a lifetime brand that really isn't feasible, but I thought I'd mention them because they did come across my plate. Came across my eyeballs. I've had 3 pairs. That's all I'll say it. I've had 3 pairs, and I feel like if I found them somehow, it's feasible for other folks to find them. But do keep in mind, again, and I want to reiterate this, other than Miss Me, True Religion, and Silver, and then, of course, the Joes and the cut from the cloth, because those are kind of mid-grade. These other brands, very rare for me to find in the wild. I found 2 JoJo's, 2 Madewells, and I've had 4 or 5 BKEs that I found in the wild myself. Any of these that I've had other than that, I got in either thread-up boxes or purchasing, wholesale or reseller lots, or buying out other people's stores as they either, stopped selling on eBay or got out of clothing. And the reason I wanted to mention this to you guys is so that you keep that in mind when you're sourcing, to think outside of the box. Don't always just source at your local thrift stores and your yard sales and your church sales, because you're going to find all kinds of the same stuff. I feel like we always find better stuff when I go somewhere else. I don't know what it is about my area, but I always find better stuff in South Carolina, Florida, wherever we've been. I've sourced in Vegas and found good stuff. So be willing, I guess, to source outside of the box. Be willing to once in a while take a risk and get a denim box from thredUP, or take a risk and buy wholesale lots or reseller boxes from trusted resellers that you guys know. We sell reseller boxes. If you're interested, there's a link down below to our wholesale website, and you can get reseller boxes. They're full of clothes. They're fully manifested. Prices are broken down for you. And that's what I mean when I say trusted. When you purchase wholesale lots, you first of all want to make sure you trust the person you're buying from. You want to make sure there's good photographs and a manifest of what you're getting and a breakdown of price and everything. And we have all of that on our Shopify. We run it with Casey, the Rockstar Flipper, and I would hope that he and I are both, influencers that you guys trust. We have sold many of these boxes already. They are manifested, so you know exactly what you're getting. And then we have them to fit every budget and every size need. We have like 50-piece boxes, 100-piece boxes, and they range from $50 and up. And then shipping's calculated in when you check out. So if you want to try your hand at a reseller box to see if you can get different kinds of brands because it's coming from somewhere else, we purchased all this wholesale from another state, not here in Pennsylvania and not Florida. We bought out someone's thrift store. And so there's all kinds of stuff in there that's just different than what even we normally see. But you can take that risk, or you can do a thredUP box, or you can go on eBay or Poshmark or Instagram. There's a lot of sellers out there that do wholesale or reseller boxes. Just make sure it's someone you know, like Megan Mawiney does them too. And make sure you know what you're getting. and just, be safe. Don't just buy mystery boxes from some mystery person on Instagram. Don't just go to some rando's Poshmark closet that no one's ever heard of and buy a mystery box. I'm not saying don't ever buy a mystery box, but buy it from someone that's got a reputable reputation within our community, and just, be safe and protect your yourselves. The best way to do it is with the manifest, because you know what you're getting. But I'm not saying mystery boxes are always bad. Sydney does mystery boxes. So just make sure you know who you're buying it from. Make sure that they have a reputation. You can ask them if they have any testimonials or whatever. I just don't want you guys to go buy from randos. Well, Star said I should buy a reseller box, and you go buy from some rando and get burned. I actually got burned recently, but thankfully she did just refund me and give me my money back. I'm not going to mention any names or burn anyone publicly, but I'm just saying, even I tried to purchase something and it ended up not being good, and I had to ask for my money back. So be careful out there. And again, if you guys want to write these down, I'm going to read them off one more time. So mid-grade, above bread and butter, but below Bolo is Joe's, cut from the cloth, 7 for all mankind. And then, of course, you have Miss Me, True Religion, Silver, Rock Revival, Madewell, Dojo's, Frame, J Brand, Rock and Roll Cowgirl, and Rock and Roll Cowboy. And BKE, but only for men. And then the Jenko Jeans. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. If you have any more questions, let me know that too. Hit the thumbs up before you leave. It really helps the channel, guys. And subscribe if you haven't already. Help us feed a hungry hippo. Join our Facebook group, Flippin' Hippos Reseller Pod. Free to join. Link down below. Until next time, go be productive. Go make some money, guys. And thank you so much, as always, for watching. Y'all are the best. Bye.